Hello, for today's video we're going to be looking at a specific USA Computing Olympiad problem from the Bronze Division 2018 January contest, problem number 2, lifeguards. In this problem, Farmer John has a specific number of lifeguards that are on duty. They all cover a specific amount of time. So for example, in this sample input, the first lifeguard covers times from 5 to 9, which means he covers the times 6, 7, 8, and 9. Farmer John is going to fire a certain lifeguard, but he still wants the maximum number of time covered without that lifeguard. So we're going to help him figure out which lifeguard to fire, and by showing him the maximum amount of time that can still be covered. So to start out, we're going to have our specific input using namespace std and include. We're then going to, in our main function, we have, since we're inputting and outputting to certain files, here it's lifeguards.in and lifeguards.out. We're going to have these two specific lines of code which tell the computer to do that. Then the sample input that they're going to give us is a first specific number n, which is the number of lifeguards. So in our code, we define and initialize an int n and input that n. And after that, we're going to store the times that come right after of the 3 specific lifeguards in this sample input. So for that, we're going to create an array based on n, the number of lifeguards, and two columns to store the start and end times, and then we're going to input that as well. And afterwards, we actually start processing the code. Remember, the lifeguards can have overlapping times, which is why using a set is beneficial, since sets, even if, for example, the number 7 or 6 is inputted twice, the set will only count that as one time, since it has to have unique integers. So we start a for loop with I that traverses through the number of lifeguards. Whatever number I is on, that lifeguard will not be counted, will pretend to be fired. And then we create that set that stores all the times that those remaining lifeguards can cover. Then we create a nested for loop with for int. Int j also covers all the lifeguards, but this time it actually traverses through the actual times with the following for loop of int k. The statement right before of int j equals I is to make sure that if j is equal to the value I, which is the lifeguard that will not be covered, then the for loop just ignores that specific value with the continue command and goes to the next j value. The for int k, it starts at it looks at the individual times of the lifeguards. It starts, for example, for the first lifeguard has times from 5 to 9, which means 6, 7, 8, and 9. So int k starts out with 6. And then it has to be less than or equal to that end time, 9, and then it's incremented by +1, and all of those values are inserted into the set we created beforehand. At the end, we have to count how many of those values are inside that set. And remember, the set only covers individual values, the same value once. And then the actual number we output is going to be the integer answer. We initialized it and declared it to 0. And then at the end, for each time we fire a lifeguard and calculate the remaining times that can be covered, we're going to compare that to our current answer and see, using the max function, we're going to pick the higher answer as our current integer answer. So for example, for the first one, we would have, since the lifeguard with 5 to 9 is removed, we're going to have the times from 1 to 4 and 3 to 7, which is 2, 3, 4, and then 3 to 7 is 4, 5, 6, 7, which would have a time of 7, which would be greater than our initial 0 value. So our answer would then be 7. And then at the end, we have to output that answer into our file, lifeguards.out, and then you would get the answer of 7. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you again next time.